Hey guys, so it's Ryan and Addie, and we went and saw Rocketman tonight. We got a invitation to go to a pre-screening of it, an early release type thing. It doesn't come out till the 31st of this month, so we just wanted to take a second and let you guys know how we feel about it, and this kind of started because we started talking about it in the car on our way home from other movies.
Yeah, we every time we go to a movie, we talk about how we liked it or didn't like it, and we get really into it. And so, a few times after we get home, we're always like,
maybe someone will want to hear this.
Maybe this advice will be good, and then we don't have to keep telling people individually every time they ask about a movie. So, this is
attempt 1, first movie. So.
Yes. So, when we first left the movie theater, I asked Ryan, yay or nay, on the movie itself.
And I went like this.
Yeah, you went like that.
Yeah, because I really didn't know. I couldn't figure out if it was a yes or a no.
I would say yes. I think it's a good movie, and I think it's worth seeing. It wasn't what we expected.
Definitely not what we expected.
But that doesn't mean it was a bad movie. It just means that we didn't go in with any expectation.
And it's hard to have an expectation on a movie that has literally no one but very few people have actually talked about it. You get on and it's only critics. And I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't read critics' reviews because I think Rotten Tomatoes is almost wrong, because there'll be a movie that has 99% of the people going to love it and they'll give it like a 4. It'll splat. And if people like the movie, then they should go, and so I've kind of taken my advice is don't listen to the critics, look at what people are saying about it. But you can't, because this movie hasn't been out. It's not out yet. So here we are. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, we're good. I'm just thinking, like, how would we describe this movie?
Yeah, and that's what I was just getting ready to get to, actually, because kind of the thoughts of it were like, because we went into this movie thinking it was going to be almost Bohemian Rhapsody style, or A Star is Born, very much a cinematic experience with music. And it wasn't necessarily that.
That was not what it was.
It was definitely a cinematic experience with music, but it wasn't a standard movie. It was almost like a mixture between a musical and a movie. And I know movies and musicals are the same thing, but this would take your classic musical, okay, and then also your standard movie and put them right together and make a movie musical sandwich, because it wasn't quite a musical and it wasn't quite a movie.
It's like your small suitcase and you just kind of try to shove as much as you can in there, and then you sit on it and then you zip it.
Yeah.
And it gets on the plane.
But you probably should have brought a bigger bag.
Not what we expected.
No, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster. What do you think?
Yeah, that was my thought, was that it's an emotional roller coaster. Because it is very much a biography. Like, it goes through in a lot of detail his life, and it includes so much music. So it goes through, like, him as a child, and then as a teenager, or an older child, and then a teenager, and then as an adult, and going through everything that he went through, and then just all through that, he incorporates his music into it in a way that is really cohesive, because it really kind of sets the mood for what he's feeling, which, while it wasn't something that we were expecting, it worked. Like, at least for me, it worked. I once I got used to it, I was like, okay, like, this is what I'm expecting now.
Okay, so for me, I want to just build upon what she had said. I'm not going to tell you a lot of the story necessarily because I don't want any spoilers, because you got to see it for yourself. But it does. It starts as a young child and works its way through to the point of he's probably in his mid-20s going through an AA meeting, and it tells that story in between quite a long period of time. There's a few things I want to critique in the movie personally that I kind of struggled with. The movie was all over the place. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because looking back, you're kind of seeing how Elton felt. And kind of the things that he was going through in his head with the addiction, and also the feelings that he went through. Because his childhood, his life wasn't the easiest life, you know, and this isn't a spin-off of someone else's idea. This movie was actually produced by him. And so it's
it's accurate.
It's accurate in his feeling, I guess, and the way he shows his feeling
it's very artistic,
super artistic,
and really it was really good. Like, and it was the way that he portrayed his feelings was very the way an artist would, and so
the movie portrays that very well.
Yeah. Really, the visuals were stunning. They made you feel things. So
yeah, they did. I really enjoyed the visuals of this movie. There were quite a few things that were very interesting. There were cutscenes in it, basically cutscenes within a scene without cutting away, which sounds super weird to explain it, but for example, there's a point where he's playing the piano, and then there's a famous scene of him jumping while he's playing the piano, and he's almost horizontal. And that's a famous picture. You can look it up. And I can share that because it's not going to take away from the movie, and it's not a spoiler or anything like that. But it cuts into almost what he's feeling as he's doing that, maybe what the crowd's feeling, and then it cuts back into the movie.
It was so odd, because it was like, we just thought like everybody just started, but it was like the visual of everybody jumping, but we just thought, at least I thought, everybody was just started floating, and I was like, okay,
maybe he's high.
What kind of a movie is this? But it was just really like the slow motion of it in his brain, and like it was super. It caught me off guard, and I think it caught you off guard.
Yeah, because I was like, what did we get ourselves into?
Yeah, I thought it was being punked, but getting into it made sense.
Getting into it and understanding it and talking about his feelings afterwards and thinking about maybe what he was feeling and what was going on, it actually really had a significant part to that movie. And it actually made it very cool because it almost spun around him. The camera spun around him as he was doing that. It was just really, really cool visually. The thing that's amazing about that, though, is visually, this movie is stunning. Whether that's costumes, whether that's the actual filming of the movie, whether that's the period pieces, because it does go over a period of time.
Like
Montage-y, yeah, kind of, yeah. And it was great. The whole movie was great. But the thing that was surprising about all of that is how few of people actually worked on this movie. As the credits rolled, we were looking at different people, and there was one makeup artist for all the main actors and everybody. One makeup artist. Now, who's to say she didn't have assistants? But in the credits, it said there was one. Then this, like, for everybody that was kind of an extra, then there was a couple more makeup artists for the extras. But as far as just the people, one lady. You start looking at other ones, and there wasn't. It's a really short credit. The credits were maybe 3 minutes long, like very short. It was very interesting to see how few of people worked on it.
Yeah, and along with that, even though the cast was so small, they had a couple of really kind of top players in acting. Some really good stars. That's top players, MVPs. They had some, and the acting was really good. And the guy who played Elton John was. We really should have these names written down somewhere, but the guy who played Elton John did a really fantastic job.
And it's almost, he's a better looking Elton John than Elton John is. But that being said, it's almost uncanny how close they were able to get the actors, especially the child actor that played Elton John when Elton was a kid. I mean, it was almost
and
a mirror image.
Like near the end, they'll draw comparisons between the actors and the real life counterparts and their
the costumes
uncanny.
and
just so they did a really excellent job. And I think another thing that they did really well is that they portrayed alcoholism and drug addiction and different kinds of trials within someone's life. I think they visualized that really well. We keep talking about visuals, but it really was
stunning,
really great. And I think for that reason I would go and see it again, because I'm sure there are things that we missed visually.
It doesn't help that when we got tickets for the premiere or the early screening, we were literally sitting underneath the screen.
Oh yeah, we were sitting in the second row.
So,
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it, but I'd like to be one more row back a little bit, at least one more row back. But for me, with the alcoholism and everything, they were able to take that and spin it on its head, where it was, it was going on, you saw it going on, but it also wasn't the whole factor of the movie. It wasn't only about alcoholism. It wasn't only about cocaine use. But it was a big part of Elton's life, so they showed it quite a bit, and they showed how it was a part of his life.
They also did that a lot with his personal life as well, with him being gay, and they made that because it was so, it is for a lot of people, very molding of him. And I don't know. I think they did everything in a really clear, clean. I just liked it. So I don't know.
So with content-wise, it is rated R. I don't know if we've said that yet or not, but it is rated R, and it's rated R for a few things. It's for the drug use, the alcoholism, and then the sexuality in it. Not necessarily because it's gay, just because there's a lot of skin shown in one scene especially. And then it alludes to sex in quite a few different ways. And do I think that it deserved a rated R rating? I would say it's more of almost a PG-13 style. Yeah,
but they said the F word quite a bit.
Did they?
Uh-huh.
I didn't count how many F words there are.
I think we're just we see enough movies that we just are kind of whatever about it. But, I guess, going back to, the generality of the movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
When I first left the movie, I would say, a 6 or a 7. The more you think about the movie and the more you internalize it, because it is very artistic, we alluded to already. I would almost give it an 8.5 maybe. A 10 on my rating. If you guys saw movies last year, I had 3 movies that were a 10 last year. I had Green Book that was a 10. I had, let's see, A Star Is Born, and then I had Bohemian Rhapsody is. Those were my 3 10s last year. So comparing it to those 3, if you've seen those movies, 8.5, somewhere right there.
I would say an 8. I'm the same way with you. When I first left, I was like, it wasn't like, it was good. Like, I would have said like a 6 or a 7. But right, I think after thinking about it, and I think if I went in again, like knowing what to expect, I think I would have rated it an 8. And so I think I'll stick with an 8.
Perfect. So we kind of thought of a couple ways to talk about the movie and say, don't go see it. It was okay. Like, maybe wait for the cheap theater, type. And then or for DVD, see it when it comes out on DVD. The next one was go see it. It's good. Go see it. And then the last one would be must see it. You must see this movie. This is grand.
Kind of like a scale 1 to 4, but we're gonna go with like
those ratings. For me, go see it. It's not a oh my gosh, drop everything and go see it.
It's not Avengers.
It's not a must see, you know.
But it is one I think is worth the time to go see it in theaters.
Yeah, so it's not what you expect. It's not going to be a biography necessarily. It's going to be a mixture, like I said, of musical, movie, biography style, and it shows his thoughts and feelings. So it's a little out there, about as out there as his costumes are, which there's some crazy ones, but go see it. The music is fantastic. You'll be hearing songs that you'll be saying, oh yeah, that is an Elton John song.
Like, it's not that you forgot, but you like kind of forgot.
You didn't. It's a slight nudge, like, hey, don't forget that this is an Elton John song. And then your mind, you're like, oh my gosh, I love this song. And you'll learn some really great things about Elton. You'll learn about his co-writer, because Elton actually didn't write most of the lyrics to the songs. He had a co-writer that did. And you'll learn about him and his relationship with Elton. And you'll learn.
And their kind of teamwork was really cool. Just go see it.
Go see it.
I feel like we're getting into spoilers now.
Yeah.
So we should probably stop. But thanks for watching. And we will see you next time.
Deal. See ya.
Bye.